optimize image file names. So we talk about this a lot, but anytime where you can give Google information about who you are, what you do, your services, and your geography.
This idea was worth $1 million to me.
Yeah,
I've gotten $1 million in sales from this.
Yeah, we can do a separate podcast on that. But yeah, so important. And the reason it's important because Google has a hard time. Google can read text really well, right? The robots. Pictures, not so much. It's hard for Google at this point in time to scan a picture and figure out what that is, who's in the picture, what's going on. Because it's a picture. They do the same thing with video. So that's why this file names and like alt text and all that kind of stuff is important. I know you're going to talk about alt text next, but including things inside of your file name and your alt text that are descriptive of what it is. And you've got on here use hyphenate between words. So talk about that, because I'm not really sure what the reason for that.
Yeah, if you have an image on your page, the file name of that image is absolutely an SEO factor. And so if you just name it the number that your camera produced when it saved it to the SD card, .jpg, that's communicating no useful information with that file name. So you can rename the image before you load it, and depending on your setup, if your CMS doesn't mess that up, or you don't have some complicated system that some IT group has forced on you, then save your images and use images and handle them so that you have some keywords in that file name. So yeah, and we'll use geographic info in there. So
don't call it orthopedic clinic, call it Scranton Orthopedic Clinic.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And if you dig into goapps.com and look at some of the images on the services pages, you'll find things like search engine optimization agency Nashville TN, all separated by hyphens to name a file .jpg.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good
one of these, like we talk about this a lot. It's one of these like tiny things you can do.
Super huge.
It's just doing it one time, doing one tiny thing isn't gonna help. But if you do tiny things like that over and over again in different places, it's gonna add up. As you
and I can absolutely demonstrate this, and I'll seg to our next point on this. But yeah, we did this with optimizing image file names in 2016, and in particular the regional identifiers. And this generated a new flow of new business to GoApps. We're sitting here in Nashville, Tennessee, and my company is GoApps, and Chris's is Bullhorn Media. But on the GoApps.com site, we used local identifiers in these file names and immediately started getting leads in from California, where they, for whatever reason, had either Tennessee dollars or Tennessee relationships that needed to be served with our services. And so they were doing searches from California like Tennessee Marketing Agency or Nashville, Tennessee Marketing Agency or Performance Online Marketing Nashville.
Yeah.
And we were, guess what? Guess who's coming up in California now? Because we serve a nationwide audience. And yeah, this generated deals for us. And I'm kind of on the conservative side saying $1 million in revenue, but since then, it's generated $1 million in revenue.